Rimma Grigoryan. She is a sales and leasing consultant. The company is Harbor Real Estate.
Well, let me once again introduce Marie. She's the director of PRAVO Management Consultancies, helping our compatriots to adapt to the market of the UAE. Well, Marina, will you take the floor? Yes. I will wait for your questions. Let's tell about what is needed, what is anyone needing if they plan to move over to the United Arab Emirates. Well, actually, we just heard a very inquisitive presentation about Germany. And every country, of course, has its own specifics. The UAE is a mix of European mentality with Arab and Sharia laws. And first and foremost, should we talk about CIS and European countries, if people from CIS and European countries plan to move to the UAE, they are faced with the reality whereby the UAE is absolutely is an absolutely different world, consisting of some European laws and including Sharia laws and the federal laws. And this is probably the unique place. This country is very unique in that it is developing. It has these dimensions, and it is still it's moving forward. First and foremost, anyone should understand, why do you want to move to the United Arab Emirates? Do you want to set up a business, or do you still have a business in some other countries and you will just live conveniently in the UAE? The great advantage is that there is you will feel security here. Your children will be secure in the UAE. There are people that have businesses in some other countries, and they bring their families and themselves. They come and live in the United Arab Emirates because of the high level security. And there are a few things anyone should consider before they start moving. First and foremost, they should understand what kind of legal status they will gain. If the person is coming to be employed, then the employer will provide them with the resident visa. They will process the insurance, but for the most part, our clients are investors, and there are various types of investors. They can invest in real estate or in businesses, and we will come back to this point a little later. Also, on top of identifying the legal status and determining the program for the person to use, we also need to discuss family-related issues, the family visas for family members, and the kind of documents they need to submit to relocate their family. If they have their pets, they're also asking of how to relocate their cats and dogs. They don't want to leave them behind. Also, we need to clarify the issue of your mobility. You will either have to buy or rent a car. You need to have the driver's license. And another issue has to do with housing. And another point here has to do with business. These are the key points: the family, the residence, the housing, the legal status, and these comprise the major purpose for people to move to the United Arab Emirates. And now, in this context, I'd like you to tell us what kind of services do you provide? What kind of services does your company provide? Our company is providing services to get people adapted in the UAE, but also we help people set up the different types of businesses, ranging from very simple ones and all the way to large-scale medical centers and large-scale facilities. We select the appropriate program for the person, and we identify whether they need a free economic zone, free trade zone, or whether they need to conduct their business in the offshore area, in which case their business will not be conducted in the territory of the United Arab Emirates. We can set up any type of business. We provide people with resident visas, with employee resident visas for employees. We process the founding agreements, and we also provide assistance in terms of providing necessary permits for restaurants, medical centers. We interact with the Ministry of Health, municipalities. Of course, we are interacting with realtors. And ultimately, because our clients need to be helped and support, we get them registered with the tax department. We help them in going through the audit procedures, and we provide the entire supporting services turnkey. And if you have any questions, we always answer those questions and process all the documents. We also help them open up a bank account, and we can provide more details. And we help them out in terms of opening both private and corporate bank accounts. What's the difference between the visas for investors, freelancers, and some other types of business visas? We're talking about different types of resident visas. Should an investor purchase a real estate, we're talking about Dubai right now, as well as Abu Dhabi and some other Emirates. Should the investor purchase real estate in Dubai, they need to purchase real estate for about 200,000 USD to get the investor resident visa. And then they are provided with the resident visa. Once every 3 years, they have to renew the resident visa. If the investor purchases real estate for about 600,000 USD, they get the golden visa. Its expiration term is 5 years. There's no need in any licensing there. At the moment, the government is developing the project of allocating a 10-year long visa for businesses. But one of the conditions is that the person should have 10 million dirhams on their bank account, and they should confirm the fact that the company is operational. 60% should be invested in business, and 40% can be invested in real estate. The government is currently working on this, and I think very soon we will see a 10-year visa, real estate visa. There are certain trends that the process is ongoing. The person is getting an investor visa, and if they set up a company, they get the partner's visa. The United Arab Emirates support about roughly 10 people as partners. All the company founders can get the partners investor visa. A freelancer's visa is the simplest startup option. It implies a visa for a specialist, such as fitness coach or artist, management consultancy, business consultancy, which is a company that is operated by only one person, whereby that person can have only one salesperson, and they will get that the person will get a freelancer visa to be renewed once every 3 years. And if a company was set up in a free zone or in a city, it should necessarily be prolonged once every year. Thank you very much for this explicit information. You have clarified already about the opening of a bank account. Are there any specifics that people should necessarily take into account before they embark on the process? Yes, of course, there are. Given the fact that we mostly interact, we used to interact with CIS member states, and given the current market situation, there are certain specifics. After the person has got the visa and the Emirates ID, they need to show up at a bank to submit their documents as a freelancer, a partner, or as a holder of real estate visa. The private account would be quite convenient. Mostly we have people coming from CIS, investors from Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, and so on. Should we talk about the opening of a commercial account? Banks are currently delaying the process of opening bank accounts because the department in charge of the crisis department, which is checking all the investors coming from CIS member states, usually works for a month or two to check every one of them. There is a package of documents that should be submitted. We do provide help in terms of these submitting these documents. They include, if the investor only entered the United Arab Emirates, they need to provide an excerpt from their corporate account from the country of origin. If there is a Russian or European company somewhere, they need to provide a printout on the revenues over the past 3 months' time. Also, the business plan should be provided. Banks require all these business plans with very clearly stipulated profits of yours. Also, the list of suppliers. If you are part of this business, you know what you will be doing, and you should have a suggested list of suppliers and vendors that you will be cooperating with. You need to submit the site of your company, a detailed site of your company. All these documents should be in English. And sometimes bank can ask something else. You need to provide your office rental, and And if you had some previous companies in some other countries, you need to provide appropriate certificates. The general list of documents. This is about the list of the documents. If you want to open up a corporate bank account, it will require a lengthier list of documents, but we can provide you with the necessary help. Thank you, Marina. Oftentimes we are faced with clients, we encounter clients that want to set up a legal entity or want to operate as the physical persons. Yes, exactly. We provide these services. This has to do with notary, with the services of the notary public. We cooperate with some notary public notarial services. Oftentimes our customers are our clients are required to legalize their documents from the UAE, and we help in this area as well. We can
Вот, а в связи с пандемией сейчас появилась возможность открывать и подписывать.
We help our clients with power of attorneys and to economize on our customers' time and money. We can also help them connect the appropriate court or the notary public so they can process their documents. Very good. Oftentimes people don't even know that there is no taxation in the UAE. However, if you have a business there, you will have to pay a certain percentage of your revenues. This is VAT. This is VAT, and after the company was set up and a bank account was set up, was opened for a corporate bank account was opened by by the legal entity, the company should generate 50,000 USD or more. And once that is the case, you can register your VAT account via the tax department of the Ministry of Finances. We can help you do that. And of course, once every 3 months, you have to provide reports, financial statements, and once a year, and you need to carry out an audit procedure once a year. In Abu Dhabi, interestingly enough, you need to have about 1 million dirhams, which is 300,000 USD on your account. And there are no more taxes. We're only talking about 5% VAT. If the company is selling something to another company and of course is paying the 5% VAT, we can consider the transactions and retrieve these 5% VAT. This is it. I have depleted my questions. If our audience members have any more questions for Marina, you can ask them. They have to write these questions to me as I am the moderator. So far, I haven't seen any more questions. Maybe they will come along as we move forward. There's a question which was asked in the very beginning. Let me voice it out because it is for both of us to answer. Let's go back to the last point well, it has to do with moving over to the United Arab Emirates. They have to find the housing. What are the privileges in terms of investing in Dubai? It's a very good question. Every emirate has specific privileges, and the UAE has privileges that are absent with other countries. Can you share Rimma's presentation?
Сейчас я сделаю.
It's actually for you to do because I don't have the access to it.
Действительно, почему Дубай, да? Мы вот
Indeed, why Dubai? We're now talking about the privileges in Dubai. First and foremost, you should know that this is a stable currency. Property sold in UAE's national currency, dirhams. Over the past, the UAE dirham has the USD is equivalent of 3.65 dirhams. Nobody will lose their currency if they invest in Dubai's real estate. Of course, there is a financial aspect to it too. Also, just like in many other countries, this is possible. There is a stable 5 to 8% per annum revenue. If you're a holder of real estate, any investor that has purchased real estate costing ranging from $250,000 USD and higher, the government is affording the opportunity to get the temporary residence permit. The average return on investment for the year varies from 5 to 8%, which is influenced by several factors. The location, developer, and type of property. When selecting a purchase for the purpose of investment, it's important to consider all these factors in order to maximize profit. Some projects are sold with a guaranteed ROI, return on investment, of 10 to 12%. Dubai has no taxation, which is something I'm talking about, and there's no rental tax. There's no rental tax, no, you don't have to pay taxes when you lease it out or when you purchase housing. No real estate is taxed at all. There's only one-time tax amounting to 4% of the real estate. That is that's the registration fee, which is levied by the Dubai's land department. Great, I understand. To date, people are asking, is there more requests for the secondary housing or primary housing? Actually, as you can see, the official statistics is indicative of the fact that the price for the newly developed housing is almost equivalent to those of secondary market. But the conditions that are provided for developers are very convenient. But once again, there are investors that only want to invest in real estate and see certain potential in investing in real estate, in newly developed real estate. Well, by and large, these two options have similar statistics. Well, statistics-wise, it's similar, but from my practice, I have been operating in the real estate market of Dubai for 7 years, and from my experience, many people are in favor of using the services of Dubai developers because they are providing very good conditions for people to buy real estate. As the prices are lowered, any person will find it very beneficial to use to purchase real estate in the process of in the process of development, because they will get additional the property value will increase, and also the developers are providing the chance to make payments on installments without any additional interest rate, and that is very convenient also for the customers. And of course, not all investors have the opportunity to invest 100% at a time, because just like they would have to do if they purchased the secondary secondary market housing. First and foremost, anyone should have the understanding of the kind of budget that you dispose of to make your investment. People need to understand you need to understand that Dubai real estate is the prices range from 130,000 USD for any type of real estate. Lately, I have met people that were very much amazed. People that live outside of Dubai, especially Russians, think that Dubai real estate is almost unaffordable, and that is not true. The prices here are very affordable. The prices for Dubai real estate will be identical to those we can currently see over in Singapore, meaning that the middle class can afford buying real estate over in Dubai, given the conditions provided by the developers. And in 5-7 years, it is forecasted that only high net worth individuals will be able to purchase real estate in Dubai. So this is high time to make make investments, and many people do it, and they're sure that they will not lose their investment, meaning that this is high time right now. Yes. All right. What kind of papers or documents do you have to submit when purchasing real estate? Actually, you need nothing but your passport to purchase a real estate. There's a question as to how can you pay, how can you make your transaction if you want to buy a real estate, given the current situation on the market, the money transfer opportunities have been restricted. It's very simple, actually. Any developer, any landlord will accept funds in dirhams or dollars, needless to say, but because of the problem which has emerged to date, since I'm mostly in touch with Russian investors, it's quite complex to transfer funds from Russia over to the UAE. At the moment, we have the crypto. We can use manager checks. Also, we can arrange for a bank transfer from outside of Russia. If a Russian investor has an open bank account outside of Russia, there will be no problem. They will have no problem transferring funds from those banks to the UAE bank. And of course, if we're talking about the developer, the developers will grant you an opportunity to acquire a real estate even without coming to Dubai. The payment the payment can be made. It says crypto. Crypto can be used to make payments. Yes, it can be used, but in some cases it's not possible. Nevertheless, in some cases it is possible. Yes, we should understand that to date 75% of buyers are using cryptocurrency as they possess huge knowledge in this area. How long does one have to wait for the title deed after the payment is made? Should we talk about the acquisition of ready-made real estate? They will have to wait for about 2 weeks. 2 weeks of the signature of agreement between the seller and the buyer at the Dubai Department of Real Estate. Of course, sometimes the period of time can last longer than 1 month, but in average, it's almost always 2 weeks. Should we talk about buying from the developer? In this particular case, we have to wait for the development to be completed, and only after the full amount has been transferred to the developer, this will be possible. If these two conditions are met, everything, the process is happening very fast. That's right, but unfortunately, this is rarely happening in real life. You can people can rarely, the payment, the transfer of payment can rarely coincide with the completion of the development project. All right, thank you. We now will carry on to U&A session, that is question and answer session, and we will consider questions. We will have lots of questions. We have the chat here. For some reason, I don't see any new questions here. I refrained from presenting some sort of some ready-made some developed projects and sites. You should understand that many people are afraid of buying real estate from the developer. What did the United Arab Emirates did the following to ensure any person? They came up with escrow accounts, and this was done because the because people would come and this was done to ensure the clients from dishonest developers that can collect money from people and close down their project. And the local government in the UAE has taken care of this possibility by establishing the escrow accounts, and all the funds are being deposited onto that escrow account up until the time when the developer should provide the client with the apartment. And should the developer fail to do that, then the government will pay the amount deposited onto the escrow account. Thank you very much, Rimma. We will have some additional questions to consider in chat.